It's like when it's the perfect storm. You saw the movie Perfect Storm. So you remember that sailor in that movie, how he got through the perfect storm. I guess you could call me kind of like that guy. I wouldn't say that I'm just a Chicago guy. I'm just a good sailor that obviously understands how to navigate the terrain in Chicago and things of that nature. This is the University of Illinois, so this is a national place, and I don't think, if you guys notice, we've already started to target and identify some kids that are not necessarily in the Midwest or in our backyard, but in a various number of different places. So am I familiar, and is that my wheelhouse? Is that where I was born and raised? Yes, but I wouldn't just be put in that box. I'm not just a Chicago guy. I think that my roots and my capabilities go a little bit further than just Chicago.
That being said, do you think your opportunities, Illinois' opportunities, will be changing for the better in Chicago?
I hope so. I hope so, because of the relationships and the things that I've done over the years. You got to understand, when I stopped playing, I started coaching small fry basketball, and then I coached elementary school basketball, and then I coached high school basketball, and throughout those years I've also coached AAU simultaneously. So I've coached and won on every level as a coach. I've won as a small fry coach. I won the city championship as an elementary school coach at Benjamin E. Mays. I won a city championship and a state championship at Whitney Young High School when I coached Marcus Jordan and Ahmad Starks and Sam Thompson and all those great players that we had there. And then I went to college, and my first year in college went to the NCAA tournament. So I think I paid my dues, and so I got deep roots in Chicago. I'm familiar with how things work there, and that's going to definitely help us.
Let's talk about how it's been getting out on the circuit and just selling this program, what it's been like.
It's been great. It's been great. It's a new energy because this is a new staff, and we have, I don't know, you got to hang out with us. We got very bubbly personalities. We're fun, but we work hard. And as you can see, I think there was a lot of jokes that someone said about all the offers that they saw that was out there yesterday. But this is a new staff, and this staff hadn't had an opportunity to do that. So yesterday was the first day after the second open period was over. So then all of the guys that we've been following, all the guys that we've been recruiting, it was time for us to identify those guys as someone that we want to see in orange and blue uniform. So it's been good, though. It's new energy. We're fired up about it. I think it's going to be a great situation for us.
You're talking about changing gears between UIC and the University of Illinois. There's obviously a different kind of player you're looking for now.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I think that if you do a little bit of history, the guys that I recruited at UIC were all high major players. They all had high major interests. They all visited all high major schools. I just got lucky and was able to get them to come to UIC. If you look at when I was at Bradley, Josh Cunningham was top 100 player in the country. He was probably the hottest player in the state of Illinois at the time, and he went to Bradley. I don't know how to identify a kid. You know what I mean? It's just I don't have those kind of skills. I know how to identify a good player.
Chin, being from Chicago and watching the U of I from afar for all those years, I know there's a certain perception that the university has up in that area. Was that one of the underlying reasons why you wanted to take on this job, just to kind of change that perspective? Or?
Well, since I started coaching, this has always been a dream of mine to coach at the University of Illinois. I'm truly living a dream. Like, you know, some people use that cliche loosely. Oh, how you doing? How you doing? What's your name?
Jim.
Jim, how you doing, Jim? Oh, living a dream, man. You know, I'm really, really, really living a dream. And so I remember watching University of Illinois when they used to come on Saturdays at about 11 o'clock on Saturday. Was that the time that the games came on? Somebody may know. It was around that time. As a kid, I remember watching the games when it came on that Saturday and watching the University of Illinois and the Fighting Illini. So I'm very knowledgeable of the history and of the players. I've talked to a bunch of the players. I know a bunch of the old ex-players. I had breakfast with Deion Thomas the other day. We worked together at the University of Illinois Chicago. So this is truly a dream for me, and I'm honored and blessed to be here, and I'm going to do the best job I can to work hard for this university, because I'm really truly living the dream. I'm not just using that term loosely.
Thank you.
Coach, in addition to Illinois, what was it about Brad that drew you here?
Well, I'm also a student of the game, and so being a student of the game, you got to, you kind of keep your ear to what's going on throughout the country. And Brad Underwood was someone whose name just kept coming up. And any time a big job came available, his name was at the top of the list. And what Brad Underwood done caught my eye a long time ago at SFA. How is this guy doing this? How is he doing this? How is he winning all these games? How is he dominating the league? Just like dominating the league. And then when he gets to the tournament, he beats some of the big schools and things of that nature. So that piqued my interest. And as a student, I kind of seek Brad out just for information, never knowing that he would ever be the coach at University of Illinois. I'm just a young student of basketball, and I admired what he did, and I was a fan. And so as a fan, I just seeked him out and started having conversation with him, talking shop with him, and we actually took his defense this year to University of Illinois Chicago, and we were #1 in the Horizon League, using his same principles, his terms, red, white, blue, up the line, on the line, all of the stuff that he talks about in defensive, from a defensive standpoint, and it helped us triple our wins from year 1 to year 2. We kind of, we almost quadrupled our wins, and so that alone, I was a fan first, and now to be a comrade and to be working for him is I guess could say my second dream. It's just a win-win for me. I'm in a good space right now. I'm just blessed, man.
How did you get the nickname?
It was a childhood nickname that I tried to shake, right? When I first got the job at Colorado State, when I was working for Tim Miles, and I left Colorado State and went to Nebraska with Tim Miles. When I first got the job, I was coming from Whitney Young. I was coaching the Fire, and I was the head coach of the Macro Fire. And then when I got the opportunity to coach in the Division I level, I was like, yeah, man, I gotta shake this chin thing. I gotta be more professional. I gotta be more, And then we tried it for like a hot week, like literally 72 hours. We tried it. We was calling me Ron. We tried Ronald. And then Coach Miles was like, Chin. He brought me in his office. He's like, Chin. I was like, come on, Coach, Ron or Ronald or Ronnie or something like that. He's like, I don't think we can do it. Like he said, if we change your name, then you don't have any more street credibility.
Yeah.
So we couldn't shake it. I tried to shake it, so it's kind of like a bad cold that won't go away. So I'm just sticking on to it.
We talked to Io and Taylor Horton Pucker this weekend at EYBL, and they specifically mentioned your name. How important is it to be on a first-name basis with those kind of kids already?
I can't comment on
just in general, kids knowing who you are.
Well, I think that says a lot to what I talked about earlier. I've paid my dues, and I've been a pillar or landmark in Chicago basketball for some time, and so I think that I have a lot of respect, and I think that I'm someone you can trust. You know what I mean? I think that means a lot to the city, and that means a lot to the people that have some skin in the game, so to speak, in the law of the land in terms of basketball, and being someone that you can trust, and the comfortability and that whole being one of the guys and like one of the guys. I think that is a plus.
Coach, the pulse of Chicago, the pulse of the state. Does adding a guy like Mark Smith and Mr. Basketball change things for you, add momentum? What have you noticed?
It completely changes things, and he's an unbelievable young man, though. Like if you heard some of the things that he said, some of the sticking points that he said about why he chose to stay at home, he's an example for a lot of kids that may be straddling the line and thinking about, that the grass is greener somewhere else, or so to speak. Just look at Mark Smith. Take Mark Smith, for example. He stands for all the right things, and so we appreciate that, and we're honored that a young man decided to stay at home, having the pomp and circumstances that he has, being Mr. Basketball, because there's going to be a couple more Mr. Basketballs that we're gonna target, and we're going to use an example. Hey, think about what Mark did, and look at how it turned out for him. Like this should be the option for those kids. There shouldn't be any other options. And Duke tried to come in, obviously. Kentucky tried to come in, obviously. Michigan State, and at the end of the day, I think it says a lot about the character of that young man and why he chose to stay here. And hopefully, we'll have a couple more guys in that same situation that decide to stay here.